Shalom, shalom to the remnant, to the elect, to the called out, to those that remain faithful, to the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach and his commandments. First, giving all honor and praises to Yahweh, our Father in heaven, our Maker, our Creator, our Sustainer, to Yahushua, his Son, our High Priest, our husband after the order of Melchizedek, and to the Malach Yahweh, also known as the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKadosh, holy, 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 to the three of them, Echad. This is Sibaya. I have a message, and I'm going to make it as quick as I can. I have so many things to say to you, so many things I've been wanting to say, and, you know, once again, we have to use wisdom, especially in this time. So I have an important message today, and I need those of you that have ears to listen and shema. I'm going to try to say a lot with few words, but I'm not really skilled at that, as y'all see, because I'm not sent like that. But we still have to use wisdom. And I've been saying that I can't say everything because they are watching, they are recording, they are sizing up, they are marking, they are profiling, and they are about ready for the Valley of Dry Bones. So now, I know I got a lot of haters. One will call me a hater and an accuser of the brethren, of the elect, or of the righteous, but I'm not an accuser of the righteous man. I'm not an accuser of the elect. I'm an accuser of the false shepherds, leaders, teachers, prophets, and false messiahs that Yah has warned the very elect to beware of in these times. And I am here to help you hear what Yah has said concerning your leaders and your teachers in these last days or end times. That is my job. That's my job, y'all. I am a prophetess sent to blow the trumpet, and I know that it is rare and often not heard of and not believed by many that Yah would do such a thing. But sometimes he would do the very thing that you least expect. The most unlikely thing. And no, it is not likable to have a woman rebuke the eldership and the leadership of this last day, so-called awakening and return. So y'all have seen me do this last two videos on these two characters, Ghostface, Yakoba, EVO, and his twin brother, Teyu, from TEOTW Ministries, the End of the World Ministries, and talk about and try to my best, without doing too much, reveal to you the wickedness of his plan, though it sounds good, and show you that his Project Dry Bones is nothing but a stolen template from the conscious community, from Black Wall Street, and an emulation of what the kingdom really is. And his template is nothing but the same template he have, but definitely he's striving for so much more, which he had also the same Project Dry Bones, Ezekiel's Dry Bones. But he got stopped last year during the COVID because Ghana issued that everyone had to have the vaccine. So he got stopped in his tracks. Okay, well, he's definitely the big face of what's going on now, and I've spoken to it. I've told you that his plan is the same old scheme as his plan is the same old scheme as all the other plans of everybody that's calling themselves getting land. And I'm here to help the people for this return. I'm here to build the kingdom. They all say, I'm not a prophet. I'm not a prophet. But if you listen to the words, that's exactly what they're declaring to you. that they are not only just prophets, they're darn near half near claiming that they Moshe sent. They darn near claiming that they the two witnesses. They're one adjective away from claiming that they are the two witnesses. But when you get people talking about they about to set up the kingdom, they are about to establish the kingdom and unite all the scattered. Do you understand the claim? That is the work of Yah's messengers and angels called prophets. But I've tried my best. Not really. I can do better. I can do more. And I'm not done with this. But I've already told you I had a conversation with this brother. And when I say brother, he's not my brother. This man, this thing, right? That's why some of y'all only came after me for this one. Somebody, I have a conversation with this one. I don't have a conversation with Ghostface. How you have a conversation with somebody you don't even know who the hell you talking to? Talking about, who am I false accusing? I don't even know who I'm accusing. And this one, I didn't reach for him. Someone wanted to link him to me, not understanding and so he went into the conversation blind. He didn't know who he was about to talk to, but he knew who I was. So that conversation went real sour, and you heard what I said. So now, this Operation Valley of Dry Bones that everybody's running with, this Negro didn't even understand none of the prophecy until he went over my prophecy. After I spoke to him, he didn't have nothing about this return, but this return is Pan-Africanism, and they all speak in that. This is not the kingdom. This is not the kingdom. Now, if people won't go out there and buy land in America, I showed you the word on that. Let them do it. If people want to go back to Africa and buy land in Africa and build African communities, let them do that. They want to build Muslims communities, let them do that. They want to build atheist communities, let them. If they want to be build Christian identity, let them do that. But this is where Sibaya steps in, and she's going to always step in. And any prophet that of Yah is going to step in when they claim that what they're doing is of the kingdom and sent by Yah to gather the elect, which is only a remnant. Only a remnant. When you see people up here bragging about, I got millions, and I got millions of subscribers, then where's the kingdom? Because there's only a remnant, 144,000. And that's all I'm looking for. That's all I'm looking for. I'm here for the elect. And so this valley of dry bones, this wide space that our people is stuck in between two mountains, we're going to get to the understanding of what the valley of dry bones is. They don't understand. Has not happened yet, but I'm going to show you why it's going to happen. Why? And it's because of people like him and people like that. Okay? So this is not the lesson that I'm going to go over dry bones, but I'm going to show you something that I've been trying to warn y'all about from the first time that I stepped on foot on the YouTube. Okay? So I'm going to try to say a lot with saying a little. Hear me out. You got Operation Dry Bones. Think about it. Dry bones, at the end of the day, is about us being slaughtered in a wide space. And I'm going to prove it. Operation Dry Bones. But listen to me. The wisdom of man is not the wisdom of Yah. And I have run down all the prophecies to show you what's going to happen in this Operation Dry Bones. But I want you to understand the wisdom of Yah. Operation KYRIE. Operation Lentil Soup. Think about it. Think about it. All right, let's get to it. I'm back. So I said again that I've been warning y'all, as they call me a false prophet. I've been trying to warn y'all about something for years. And before I got on the YouTube, this was the very thing that we've been warning people about over 30 years about this return and what Yah says. So before I get started to show you that I've been trying to tell you what thus says Yah, I want you to hear this, and then I'm going to go back to my first videos telling you about the come out, right? I want you to hear this. So this was CNN. This was the Israeli Prime Minister, right? The Israeli President, Yitzhak Herzog, this week speaking about this. And I want you to hear, because I said this in another video about how I got inside eyes to some of this stuff. I can't tell you everything, but there is a speech that is going on with inside that is saying, and you're going to hear him slightly say it, but you're going to hear that I said that this was something that was being issued amongst them when Black people started rising up about reparations and all the murders that was happening about for the last 4 or 5 years. That there's an inside speech because of the riling up of Black sympathy all over the world, and using that to say this is Jacob's trouble. I'm not denying that. That they have been telling their people all that means is that it's going to end with us, because that's prophecy. Okay? So that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to let you hear it. I want you to hear something. All right? I'm about to play.
I know it came up during your meeting with President Biden at the White House on an increase of anti-Semitism here in the United States, and on an increase of anti-Semitism here in the United States, and on an increase of anti-Semitism here in the United States, and we saw that just in recent days with Kanye West, now known as Ye. How did that discussion with the president go? Well, and I know you're very much concerned about what's going on in this country.
We are all concerned by anti-Semitism all over the world, and of course, anti-Semitism here and everywhere. And the president was crystal clear, was on target in fighting anti-Semitism with all tools possible. It's anti-Semitism, it's racism, xenophobia. These are the challenges of the era, but unfortunately, history teaches us that usually it starts with hating Jews. That usually it starts with hating Jews. That usually it starts with hating Jews, with blaming Jews, with terrible rhetoric that people say, okay, he said it. And that's why I'm extremely pleased, objectively, as an Israeli, as a Jew, as a human being, I'm extremely pleased to see this overwhelming reaction against the comments by Kanye West.
Okay, could that have been made any clearer? Did y'all hear that? I don't want to keep repeating this because we got to be wise now. Did you hear what he said? It's on the rise in this country, all over the world, though, particularly in this country, and you're concerned about it. Oh, no, they have a plan for this. This is all one plan. And he said, when you see this kind of rhetoric, this kind of xenophobia, this kind of racism all over the world, it usually starts with what? Okay, because I'm trying to show you something prophetically. We're gonna get into the word. I'm gonna prove this by the word that man's plans do not, the mind of man do not understand the plan of Yah, because he has not revealed anything to them. What you see now with all of these false leaders, and it's not just them, it's all of them that I mentioned and more, right? Mm-hmm. What you see now is them stealing Yah's word from every man, their neighbors. Yah said, I did not send them. They ran ahead of me. If they would have sat in my council, I might have sent them, but they did not sit in my council. They ran with their own vision and dreams and aspirations, saying, Yah said, just because they stole Yah's words from their neighbors. All right. I'm going to show you that I warned y'all about this. I warned y'all, and they are part of this. We don't understand who is being used for what, because y'all don't understand the intent of man's heart. Please, y'all that have ears to hear, stop acting like y'all understand all the prophecies and that Ezekiel dry bones and Daniel and Revelations is the end and Genesis 15 is the beginning and the end of the matter. All the prophets have something to say, and I didn't put in hundreds of hours breaking down prophet after prophet to declare to you the end from the beginning and the beginning from the end in detail. And there's even more. And so at times 8:53 and the run part 1 and 2 and 3 come out of her, my people, the whore of Babylon, right? I want to play it for you so you can hear what it is that I warned y'all about. Times 8:53.
All of their witchcraft and enchantment and knowledge right back. Them Edomites don't want to come to Israel. They live in large there. But you're going to see that anti-Semitism, as they call it, is going to rise up right underneath the nose of anti-Black America. Anti-Semitism, as they call it, is going to rise up right underneath the nose of anti-Black America. You're going to see that they're going to overshadow what's really going on with us when you see oppression happen with Edomites in America. Why? Because they're trying to get them to come back too, so that they can look like they're fulfilling prophecy, and they will. They are campaigning hard. They have built this country up. They are preparing for a large influx of population to come to this country and fill it up to look like they're fulfilling prophecy that all of Israel has come back. I tell you, if you ever need a sign from a prophet, when you see them run up out of America, when you see a grand population of Jews pick up and go back to Israel, you better run. Nigga, run. I said it.
Was that clear? Did I stutter? All right. Okay. That was 4 years ago, but that wasn't the first time I mentioned it. It was the first time that I put it out in the public like that. My face. Yes. Okay. Let's be clear about what's going on now. Let's be clear. All right. I'm in the coming of the Son of Man at times 5:58. I suggest that y'all watch the whole breakdown of the coming of the Son of Man, Matthew 24, and there's more to that. But let's see, right? Let's see what Yah has warned the people of. Let's play.
They don't get blown away to the end, though. All right, let's get some more. Where the caucuses? The caucuses. People be saying that, and I'm like, what? Y'all don't even know what y'all talking about. This whole thing is about creating some overview effect to the world so that they can get us in the middle of it and nobody see it. They can't. Well, they're going to do it. They're going to override our genocide, but the genocide is for us. They're going to have some time. They're going to kill some people so nobody see it. I told you anti-Semitism going to rise.
All right. Did I make that clear? That's two witnesses by my mouth, and I've spoken it all through. I've been trying to show y'all, but let me show you the mouths of the prophets. But you won't believe it until they tell it to you. I'm going to show you that these nigger brews know what's going on. That I told you that all these nigger brew camps and wannabe awakenings and fakenings and all of that they all agents. They may not all know that they agents, but they're agents. Satan is using them directly by the intent and the wickedness of their heart and the pride that they have and the hatred that they're harnessing with the pride alongside some knowledge that's not even full knowledge called identity, or the government has set them up. And I told you that these camps have been set up by government and Masonic lodges. And what you see these younger one groups out, all they are is rebels from these groups pushing the agenda. Okay? So they want to take you down, right? They think that they about to rise up. Let's see. So I've been warned y'all about that. And I do this in a couple of, I do this and come out, but I'm going to just touch it here in the Mika Code that I also did when I first came out 3 years ago. I'm at times 4:30. I'm also trying to explain to you something about Daniel's last time prophecy. And I have Daniel 11 queued up. We'll go through a few of it. In fact, I may not go through a few of it. Go back and listen. Shemai, I'm not going to sit up here and repeat myself 1,000 times through the wisdom that y'all told me to put it in such a way that only a few could actually hear it. So in Daniel 11 and 14, which someone challenged me on, it says, in those times, many of them shall stand up against the king of the south. Now, I go into what this king of the north and the king of the south is in the Micah Code. And the violent sons of your own people. Who's he talking to? Daniel. The violent sons of your own people. Violent. That's right. Full of hatred, full of violence, full of cursing, full of indignation, full of vengeance, full of envy, full of jealousy, full of ambition, full of greed, is the ones that's calling themselves rising up to fulfill this vision. Hear me, y'all. They're violent. For the past 3-4 years, all you've heard, even though non-messianic, messianic, Yahuwah, Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, Shama Shama Shu, and Jesus Christ, all in the same, underneath identity. We're all brothers. No, we not. No, we not. We're all Israel. No, they're not. The Canaanites, the Hamites, the Egyptians, some of them are Edomites themselves, and agents that Satan is using. To do what? The violent of your sons. They've been saying, if I see my brother go down, if it happens, we're going to all stand up together. And y'all don't even realize that y'all doing this right now. Y'all about to all be set up. Because you have no wisdom and you don't know Yah's ways. Shall lift themselves up. They will exalt themselves up to do what? Fulfill, establish the vision. What's the vision? But they shall fall. It's fail, it's fall. And that failing is by the sword. They're going to be put down. Rest, you know, and so I want, like I said, there's some things that just don't need interpretation, like the scripture is clear, but I do admit that Daniel is coded with a lot of wording and a lot of phrases that is hard to make sense of. But I showed you that Daniel 11 is talking about a history timeline. It's talking about a lot of history. So to be honest, I can't break down all of Daniel 11. I do understand some of the foreshadows of Daniel 11, but what I do understand is when Daniel 11 is talking about the last king, that this battle between the king of the north and the king of the south, Persia, against the realm of Greece, is the last battle at the end, at what is prophesied as the end. And I want to show that because Daniel's not talking about a war that's not dealing, that don't have no effect on us. It makes it very clear that whoever, if you go through the prophecy, it makes it very clear whoever this king of the south is, we as Israel as a whole, not all of us, but as a whole is in that land. So I want to touch Daniel 11 and I said more about it. Like I said, I'm being clipped because a lot of things were removed and I lost some clips and I'm being cut off by the internet and I had to I had to do this all over again. So I thank y'all for doing that because then the spirit came back and said, I don't want you to divulge all of that right now. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. But I will make something clear because the more that I give you in Daniel, the more you're going to see that people don't understand Daniel. It's something that people shouldn't be touched unless y'all really reveal to you what that end is. And Daniel 11, Daniel 12, and a lot of Daniel from chapters 7 and 8 is about the end. And I gave you some of Daniel that says that even Daniel didn't understand it all, but he said it's going to be war on your people. It's just destruction. Daniel was like, what? So if that's the end, then what's after that? Because that can't be the end because I know the promise. And so this is the end. Daniel calls this the end, right? And he's making it very clear that our people are in the land of the king of the south. Now, as a foreshadow, because like I said, all of Daniel 11 is not prophecy. It was prophecy to him. But a lot of Daniel 11, that's why I'm not going to go all through it, is the foreshadow of a lot of what was going on of the spirit of those nations up until now. A lot of history up until now. And so I'm not concerned about all the history of it or the foreshadows of it, the things that did play out in prophecy to him, but it's history to us. I'm concerned about the pieces in it that he plucks out and says, but this shall be in the end. There's very specific pieces that says this part of the prophecy is going to manifest in the end. Not all of Daniel is in time. He's showing you the energy and the spiritual war that's taking place, the physical war on this earth, but in spirit as whoever, this realm of Greece against Persia, this spiritual foreshadow battle that's continuing between whoever represents these nations from then to now. And so I showed you that the whole chapter of everything that Daniel talking about is the king of the south against the king of the north. And the winners of the whole Daniel prophecy that ends off in the end, the heights, is the king of the north winning against the king of the south. And that is the realm of the king of Persia, that fourth king, which is the last king, that is a world empire that's going to take over the ruling world empire, which is the Grecian Empire. And that didn't happen through Daniel's prophecy timeline in Daniel's 5, 6, 7, and 8, as he's describing it. That's not what took place in history. So, like I said, there's certain things that just don't need interpretation. Sometimes the English is just what it is. So I'm going to read it for you in the Hebrew and in the English. Excuse if I'm going to read it slow for you. There's times I can read it fast, but the Mikwadot make me pause for a minute because we don't read with Mikwadot here. Once you learn the Hebrew, you learn to read without it, and this other stuff in here that's not Mikwadot. It's something about how you sing, chant the Torah, and I see 1,000 dots. That's not good for my eyes. In those times, many of them shall stand up against the king of the south, right? Many of them. And the violent, and the them is us. And it's not just us, but it's going, Isaiah talked about this war and gave you the parallel about that, right? Being Egypt. And I already showed you that Isaiah is not talking about Egypt. It's talking about America in another form. And that there would be civil war. And there would be anarchy and race war and riots, right? Egyptians will stand up against Egyptians and kingdom against kingdom. We're going to get more into that because it's a specific time thing. So it says, and the violent sons of your own people shall lift themselves or exalt up to fulfill or establish the vision, but they shall fail. Now, of all of Daniel's 11, this is too clear. I mean, it's like, of all things you can question, this is like, do you know how to read? Okay, so let me read it in the Hebrew and translate it in the Hebrew and show you that that's exactly what it says in the Hebrew. And you can go to the Septuagint, you can go to the English translation of the Greek Septuagint, and there's more than one translation of the Septuagint from the Greek, and you're not going to get anything different. They're all saying the same thing. All right, the Masoretic text, whatever, is all saying the same thing. There's nothing lost here. So it says, "Ve ba'atim hahem," right? In the time of them, from the word et, in the times of them, hahem, rabim ya'amdu or ya'amdu, right? So many ya'amdu. Rabim means many, ya'amdu, they will stand, right? Will stand, take a stand. Al Melech, al can mean on or against. Al Melech, the king, Aneged, right? The king of the south. Bebenei paritze, okay? So it says paritze. Now the word paretz comes from the word breakthrough, or it can mean robbers. And in a sense that it's a breakthrough, that something is being forced or taken by force to take possession, and violence is always included, right? So it's to break through, to force something to take place. But it translates as violent because that's what it means. A robber is something that's somebody trying to take something by force and by violence, period, right? And so it says, in the violent, where am I speaking in the Hebrew? Again, B'nai Paritze, America, your people, of your people. Who's talking? This is the angel speaking to Daniel, giving him a revelation about the end times. And all Daniel's prophecies, somewhere where Daniel's not speaking about anything that we're not involved with it. He wouldn't be talking about this war if there wasn't something about us involved with it or affecting us. Yanasu, right? So this comes from the word nasa, which means to lift up, to bear, to carry, to commit to make stand. It also has something to do with marry, right? To bear, to uplift, to exalt, right? Leha amid, it comes from the word amad again, to make, to cause, to take a stand, to make stand, ha-chazon, the vision, ha-nik shalu, right? Venik shalu, and it shall fail. They use the word fall, but it's synonymous, right? And it shall fail. This is clear. This is clear. This is not, oh, she didn't say it to me, but she addressed it in, and this is not Russia or anybody else. I'm gonna tell you why it's not. Because America took the kingdom. The kingdom passed 40 years. They had all of the Babylonians that took, they had the kingdom. They were the rulers of the world. They had the kingdom. And they took it by force. They succeeded. And whoever this king of the north is, Persia, which I'm saying is Russia, is that king representing the spirit of Persia, the bear, and the vulture on behalf of Iran right now.
is going to succeed in taking the kingdom this time. And the prophecies tell you that they're going to take the kingdom. So when did it say that they never took the kingdom? What it is that he said they take the kingdom. They will succeed for a little while, but that little stone is going to break it in pieces. They take the kingdom by force. No. Yes, some by force, but some is coming in peacefully. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna watch. They're coming in peacefully to take the kingdom here. There's going to be a peace process between Russia and Israel here. Trust me. And they're going to join, and all you see is enemies divided, united. And that brings me to something I believe that I want to say about unity. Satan's master plan against us was divided, we stand, united, we fall. So nobody could look at one particular enemy and stand up and fight against it. So we're fighting so many battles, we don't even know which one is the enemy. And the true enemy is, Yahushua told you who the true enemy is. It's you. He never told you to pick up arms and fight nobody. Because all of those empires only took the kingdom because y'all allowed it, because the kingdom wasn't yours. You weren't ready to take it yourselves with him, underneath him. So that's another point I want to say. They took the kingdom. They will take it. The prophecy tells you that whoever the king of the south is had the kingdom, and whoever the king of the north is going to take the kingdom. They're going to succeed. These are ones that's going to try and fail. And so let's go into a little more. I'm not going to go too deep. Not going to go too deep. Let me just go to the end of the matter to see that he's addressing something. And I'm not going to go, there's different ways that they're writing this. And the Hebrew, like I said, Daniel is really.
I'm going to pause it right there. I'm going to go into Daniel real quick. Like I said, you can go back. Please listen to the whole message. Don't even cherry pick me, because there's so many things that's lending to the details of what these prophecies is expounding upon. But this in general, he's saying it as clear as can be. As clear as can be. You can go back and say, oh, that was the Maccabees all you want, but all you hear is the brothers talking about, I'm Maccabee Judah, I'm Judah this, I'm Judah that, and we go back and do what they did, and y'all was with him. No, he wasn't. It was corrupt, but nevertheless, y'all go back and check that out. I'm gonna put some scripture on. I'm gonna keep this low, right? So we know this is the overthrow of Persia, but it says the king of the north and the king of the south, and this is end time prophecy. I just read to you where it says that and in those times there shall many stand up against the king of the south. Also it says robbers, the word is robbers or violent of thy people shall exalt themselves to establish division, but they shall fail. But let's keep going down, right? So I have prophesied, I have told you that this war is going to extend, right? Whoever we are in that land. But I told you that when you flee, if your first stop got to be Africa, do not set your roots there. Keep on moving. If it's just a landing pad to cushion you so that you could bounce back up to the next landing pad, but keep on moving towards Zion, that they are coming through Africa. This war that's going to start is going to continue throughout Africa, right? All the way to the borders here, right? And the king of the north shall come and cast up a mount and take the most fenced cities. And the arms of the south shall not withstand, neither his chosen people. Neither shall there be any strength to withstand. But he that cometh against him shall do according to his own will, and none shall stand before him. And he shall stand in the glorious land. Where's the glorious land, y'all? So they coming up through Africa, all the way from Egypt to the borders, which by his hand shall be consumed. He shall also set his face to enter with strength in the whole kingdom, and upright ones with him. Thus shall he do, and he shall give him the daughter of women, corrupted her, but she shall not stand on his side, neither beat for him. And this shall, where was he? After this, he shall turn his face into the isles, and shall take many. So now then he's turning his face to what? The isles of the Gentiles. He's going to conquer the isles of the Gentiles. But the prince of his own behalf shall cause the reproach offered by him to cease. Without his own reproach, he shall cause it to turn upon him. Then he shall turn his face toward the fort of his own land, but he shall stumble and fail and not be found. Okay. So I'm skipping all the way down. Scratch that. That's not what I want to get to. I want to come all the way down to verses 30, where it talks about the continuation of this war throughout the timeline, right? It says, I'm gonna just touch on some points. And both these kings, 27, and both these kings' hearts shall be to do mischief, and they shall speak lies at the table. So we're talking about two kings, the king of the north and the king of the south, that keep what? continue to have these conversations to see if they're going to work their situation out for all these years. But it shall not prosper, for yet the end shall be at a time appointed. So if you think that's history, this is coming all the way down to the end. Then he shall return into his own land with great riches, and his heart shall be against the holy covenant. And he shall do exploits and return to his own land. Okay, so now I'm skipping down. This is about this war of the king of the north all the way to the time of the end. Skipping down to 30. For the ships of contempt shall come against him. Therefore he shall be grieved and return and have indignation against the holy covenant. So shall he do. He shall even return and have intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant. And the arm shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength. Now, I go into these words, polluting the sanctuary. This is about the mark of the beast, the abomination that desolates. How long shall the sanctuary be polluted? 3.5 years. I already told you what the beginning of that is. You can go back and listen to my lesson. And shall take away the daily sacrifice. So whatever this is the abomination that desolates, and it happens for a 3.5 year period of time upon our people. And they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall be corrupted by flatteries. Please go back and watch my lesson that I just showed you about what this means to be corrupted by flatteries. These are those that now want to come and tell us get land and every other land and establish a community and a nation and the kingdom everywhere else but where Yah said. Because Yah said, I'm going to bring you back to the wilderness of the people. The wilderness of the people is not Africa. The wilderness of the people is not Texas. The wilderness of the people is not Dimona, Israel. The wilderness of the people, the wilderness of the people is the same wilderness that we went to before, where he established the covenant with us. And that's what he said. He's going to bring us what? Back underneath the bond of the covenant. That's when he's going to what? Establish the kingdom. That's when he's going to establish the covenant within us. The bond of the covenant. So people read that and think that we don't have to keep the covenant, but it already told you that we are supposed to enter in the way the Gentiles enter in. As we learn, we do. And I'm going to show you that the Gentiles, in order to get the kingdom, have to keep the covenant just the same way. But they're not under what? The bond of the covenant. And so people know that the wilderness is about Yahweh bringing us back underneath the bond of the covenant. But you have people like this. You have people like this. And you got all of these other people telling you that you don't have to keep the laws and statutes and commandments of Yah because Yahushua put them on the cross. And that they are saved with the blood of Jesus Christ. They're wicked against the covenant. And so go back to what these corrupt by flatteries. This word is chachut. It's talking about a piece of land. Starting communities everywhere where Yah said not to go. Everywhere else, as opposed to keep your eyes on Zion. Right? But the people that do know their Elohim, we that do know Elohim, how do you know Elohim? By his word and what he told us, and by following him. What he said shall be strong. Why do we got to be strong? Because the return is not easy. It's a wilderness experience, but it's not easy. These people are looking to try to create, what do you call it? Back to America, back to Africa, reverse. What is it, Coming to America? They're over here trying to reverse Coming to America. Right? Soft living, as they call it. Living like kings in the jungle. Right? We shall be strong and do. The word is not exploits, it's we shall do. What are we supposed to be doing? What Yah told us to do. And it didn't mean that we weren't going to go through tribulation. It didn't mean that we weren't going to be refugees. It doesn't mean that we won't be persecuted. Yah never said it. But what you got people doing is trying to overt, right? Overt the humbling that Yah needs to bring us through in order to bring us back underneath the bond of the covenant. And they that understood among, right? This is ones that have wisdom, understanding among the people shall instruct many. What are we talking about? You are getting your leadership and instruction for those that are bringing you corrupt flatteries. They are preaching something and instructing you and teaching you in a wicked way that's really against the covenant. But they got what? Some understanding. They got some intelligence, right? That's what he said. I'm intelligent. But common sense. They're going to instruct many. That's why you're not doing nothing to me. We almost got 1 million followers. That means you're a false kingdom. You're a false kingdom. Talking about 1 million followers. Yeah, you shall instruct many. Yet, what did Yah say? This instruction of corrupt flatteries is something. Why is it corrupt? Because it's something that's going to get you destroyed. Why is it called flattery? Because it's something that sounds good. But it's not the word of Yah. Those that do know Yah shall be strong and do. And I'm here to tell you to be strong in the word of Yah. Regardless of what we're going through, we still here standing strong, doing what Yah said. So yeah, those that got understanding, those that got some wisdom, those that think that they intelligent, yeah, they're going to instruct many and lead you what? Into corrupt flatteries. Go back to my lesson and see what this means. But yet, they shall fall by the what? By the sword and by the flame and by captivity and by spoil many days. Who is this talking about? This is talking about our people, ones that's trying to go up there and be violent. One, establish division, do violence. That's what they talking about in America. And those of you that think you escaping and gonna give what? Instruction to many with corrupt flatteries. You still gonna fall. They coming through Africa. Now, when they shall fall. So why am I speaking out against all of these niggas? I'm not here for 1 million followers, 1 million views. I'm here for the elect, which is a remnant, 144 sons and daughters of light. I'm not looking for those of you who say you Hebrew Israelites. What is that? It's nothing. I'm looking for those that want to return to the covenant of Yah and be bound by it the way he said before. But y'all don't want to be bound by it, because if you don't do it, you're going to be destroyed and you know it. So you subvert the kingdom and tell people. It's not this nigga right here telling people they don't have to keep the covenant. You see the little bald-headed nigga over here? What's their name? Sharon and his people or whatever with this project. Talking about if you a super brew, what the hell does that mean, a super brew? You mean you one that's about keeping the commandments? Stepping stones to home. That's right. Now, when they shall fall, they shall be helped with a little help. Listen, but many shall cleave to them with flatteries. So even in this instruction, they're going to still cleave to you. Well, what? We got the flatteries of getting land in America. We got those that's not getting land. They just want to wage a war, right? We got all those levels. Ones that want to wage a war, take the kingdom by force, right? That's not flattery. That's the war. That's what these niggas are talking. That's what they talking. We got those that got understanding, like these two. They got understanding and they're going to instruct many. We're going to go to have a dry bones project. We'll go back to Africa. We're going to establish the kingdoms. We're going to buy land all over Africa. Well, where should we go? All over Africa. And they don't understand that this is a scattering bigger than what we scattered in America. Africa is like 3 times bigger than America. We already concentrated in cities where y'all over here visit each other from this conference and that conference and this award of the year, the Hebrew Awakening Award of the year. Can't you see what the spirit is all about? But these ones, now after this happens, we're going to get helped. What? That looked like a good thing, right? You're going to get help with a little help. What's the little help? The little help is these people like, I just want to help Israel. I'm trying to have you have a soft landing. By what? But many shall cleave to them with what? Flatteries. That's the same flatteries. The same flatteries. What is these flatteries? Let's get us a land outside of where y'all said get land. Let's now, everybody do what they want. You don't have to keep the covenant. When Yahushua will come back, not Yahushua, when Jesus come back, he going to make everything straight. We don't have to keep the covenant, but we need to unite so we can be ready when he comes to unite us. Don't make no sense. But some of them of understanding. I'm intelligent, right? Teo, I ain't stupid. I don't want to get caught in no refugee camp. Then he goes and tells you, you know, that was a refugee camp when they was in the wilderness in tents. That was nothing but a refugee. You damn right it was a refugee camp. And that's where he going to bring us back to again. Let me prove it. Somebody, I don't want to go to refugee camp. No, you don't want to be humbled the way Yah wants us to be humbled so that we can put our faith in him and he can reveal the kingdom with it to try them. Yes, those of you, a lot of you are going to go to this mini and to these people that's going to help you a little. It's a little help. But they still going to fall. And when they fall, because they coming through Africa, some of you are going to be tried. You're going to run. You're going to be purged. And that's when he says, my supplicants from beyond Cush. My supplicants. But I'm here to tell you, where y'all going to be crying? Y'all going to be like, what? Where's the way to Zion? Why the hell would the remnant be asking which way to Zion? Because you have been lied to by people telling you Zion is in Ethiopia, Zion is in Ghana, Zion is in Nigeria, Zion is in Tanzania, Zion is in Congo, Zion is in South Africa, Zion is Uganda. That's why y'all gonna be lost. That's why y'all gonna come back crying right here. Because some people helped you just a little bit, but they lied to you and they gonna fall. And you're going to come back with supplicants, with a purging to make them what? White, even to the time of the end, because it is yet for an appointed time. Thus says Yah. Thus says Yah. Y'all won't be mad at me because I'm trying to warn you. You're going to be asking, where's the way to Zion? And I'm trying to tell you how to find it. Follow the music. Follow the songs of Zion. And that ain't no hip hop. All right. It ain't Eshawn Burgundy. It ain't Lauren. What's his name? This little one that's trying to infiltrate me, act like he about it, but he really working for that nigga right there. Lorvins. No Lorvins with no name. I know who you are. You were sent to spy and be an agent. You're not getting in on this one. You go back and you support the one that's going to help you just a little bit, cleave to him with his flatteries. He got millions now. Let's see if he's going to do what he said he's going to do for the people. But you still going to fall. Hopefully, those of you that's hating on me so bad right now, because I'm talking about your lovely, lovely bulls, because I'm talking about your idols. I'm talking about your leaders and your ministers that's instructing you, that say they not prophets, but yet they prophesizing. That say that Yah did not send them to prophesy to you, but yet they're telling you the way you should go in the future, instructing you. Yeah, they're going to fall. Yeah, you mad at me now. But trust me, there will be a time that you're going to remember what I said. And you're going to see who is of Yah and who's not. You're going to see who was the false prophet and who was the real one that Yah sent. And when did Israel ever recognize the prophets? All right. Okay. Let me make it very clear. I'm going to have to post this in between every video that I'm not here promoting not one of these niggas, these devil worshipers, these satanic, demonic, hateful Canaanites, and some of them is a bunch of Neanderthals that infiltrated. I don't know how y'all. GMS, the ones that preach what? They're going to rape in the kingdom. And y'all are aligning yourselves with this foolishness. But let me hear you. Let me let you hear something that They know where this is going. And this is exactly what they have been sent to do. Every single last one of these camps have been sent to do this. I'm going to ask you some questions since you think you're so intelligent. We have had anti-hate crimes in this country for years now. Tell me, how is it for the past 20, 15 to 10 years that in New York City alone, but in the major cities, these niggaboos, these little gangsters, sitting up on a corner day and night, get to holler, scream, and threaten, rape, murder, kill, hatred in the streets of New York City. And never once do you see a police arrest them for disturbing the peace, for violence, or hate crimes. Why? It was always a part of the plan, y'all. Why did YouTube allow these Negroes to have such a large platform calling themselves Hebrew Israelites that when you look it up, this is what you run into? Why YouTube has allowed it, and why is YouTube still allowing it? Why? Why have they put attention on this Ronald Dalton right now? But yet, let's see what they're going to do. Watch they allow him, this book, to go out to the whole world before they make an example out of him. Why? Why? Y'all keep asking why Amazon is not being smacked? Why? Y'all don't have no intelligence what this is about? I said they want to forward. Satan is forwarding this awakening, not y'all. Why would Satan use people like Ron Dalton and TEO and Truth Unveiled and Truth Unedited Faggot and this and that and Watchmen Reports and what's that one? Yasharala, that what is it? Aquaponic Man that just military. Why? Why would Satan use these people to spread this so-called awakening like that? Why? Hear me, y'all. It's for the consciousness of the matter. Y'all can weaken your ignorance. He sent us in this situation and we are under grace by Yahushua. That doesn't mean that we're not supposed to keep his covenant as we learn. There was never an excuse, even if you didn't know that who you was. Let's put it on the table that all of you Negroes is Israel, right? Like Harry Burns, let's put it on the table. He gonna say something that y'all need to understand. It doesn't matter. But the moment that you find out or you believe by the consciousness as Yah is judging the heart of the matter, if you believe that you are a lost tribe of Israel, if you believe that you are one of the tribes, a son of Judah, if you believe that you were the people of the covenant, the moment that you came to that understanding or belief of this is the moment you are guilty. You are guilty of breaking it through consciousness. Through consciousness. Why would Satan forward this awakening? Because you are covered by grace. By ignorance. You are slightly covered by ignorance. And as long as you remain ignorant of your so-called identity, Satan couldn't completely destroy you. But now that y'all all conscious, identity this, identity that, he got you now because he knows that y'all not keeping the covenant. All right. I'm going to tell you again, where in the word y'all said prove to the world who you are? Okay, since you know the word, where did y'all say he's going to prove who I have sanctified and set aside? At the very end of the matter. And that sanctifying is first knowing who Yah is. One name. First, he's going to prove himself to be Yahweh Ahad. One name. And then he's going to prove who he sanctified. Understand, he's not proving who Israel is. He's going to prove who he has chosen from the beginning to be sanctified by his covenant in their hearts. That's the elect, because Israel don't belong to no nation. It is a borrowed name that belongs to Yahweh, Yahushua, his salvation. And you can only take that name and claim it if you bear his seed. And his seed is the word of the covenant inside you. So I said, Jerusalem has not yet been chosen. Zion has not yet been chosen. Ain't none of you Israel yet. You got to prove that through the covenant. I'm lying? Y'all don't know the word? Yeah, I know what these little Christian faggots going to be saying. See, she's not under the grace. Oh, grace is almost up, y'all. Your grace is done. Your grace is done. Yah is coming to judge, and he starts with the house of Israel. Since you claim it, and now I'm gonna show you in the word where the nations, Yah's gonna use the nations against you because, oh, you said you Israel? Then how did we destroy you then? You must have sinned against Yah. You must have sinned against Yah. So listen to what he says, y'all.
I remember exactly what it was. But as I was thinking, like a thought came to my mind, like on the flip side, the Lord is rousing Jake up. Even though with this whole Kanye thing, we understand, or at least we, through the spirit, we believe that it's all a psyops, all right? It's a psychological operation in order to come down on Jake, on Israel. That it's all a psyops, all right? It's a psychological operation in order to come down on Jake, on Israel, on the Hebrew Israelites, the ones that are teaching and preaching this word. Because if this thing is going to spiral out of control. And as I was, thinking that earlier, I was watching a video that a brother sent in the chat. I forget who uploaded it, Manatazak144, but it was a whole list. I believe I'm going to put some of it in the intro of this video. Probably not the whole thing. It was a whole 17-minute clip of different celebrities acknowledging that the Hebrew Israelites, as you see here on the screen, you got G Herbo, Drill Rapper, and many others. Fat Joe.
Let me pause it right there. As y'all want to follow celebrities now. Why? Why are celebrities doing this? Why? They all work for Satan. It was a part of the plan, y'all. And y'all are following Satan's plan to trap y'all. Y'all are following the plan. Kanye West is MK controlled, stupid. Y'all don't understand that they are planting in him what to say? Okay. Y'all don't believe me? Well, let me play this. So this is this GMS, gangster, raping, hatred, full of violence, Negroes that call themselves representing the Black community. No, they don't. Telling you that they also understand that this is a what? A psychological psyops. What's the psychological psyops? For you to rouse up, to trigger you. And this is a conversation that is being linked to trigger them. To do what? For Jacob to rise up. To do what? And the violent of your sons shall do what? Lift themselves up, exalt themselves to do what? Accomplish the vision, but they too shall fall. That's what it's about. And that's what I warned y'all about. Now I'm going to show you that Yah warned you. I'm going to show you that Yah warned you. They know what this is. This is what these nigger camps have been sent for. So now, I forgot. Let me go back. Now I want to show you the video. Y'all heard it, but they're going to point out everything else. I told you this guy is MK. Please hear this. All right. I'm not here promoting anything. I want y'all to listen. I'm telling you that he's sent. Listen to his words, y'all. He's MK mind control, whether it be through drugs, going through therapy, and being hypnotized and told what to say. But he's of Satan. So listen, Satan always got to tell you what he's here to do. What is this all about? From his statement to every other rappers, artists, idol, let them all fall. Let them all burn. Let your idols fall. That's the sign that y'all about to fall. Take them idols down. That's right. Let them burn and all their money. But even Satan's ministers is going to tell you what they really hear about at the end of the day. So listen.
And I'm sweating hard as hell, running down a street, running the wrong way down a freeway, then you're going to say that person is crazy. But if 100 other people do it with me, then it's a marathon.
That's a good way to put it.
Killed that.
Yeah.
Killed that.
Okay, what is he telling y'all? He's coming to start a what? Revolt, a revolution. That I'm here to take 1 million of y'all with me. Okay.
So some of the stuff, I'm the first person that's saying it.
Right.
Or Candace Owens is the first person that's saying it.
Right.
Then another person sees and say, I kind of feel you. Floyd Mayweather might say, oh, I feel you. And then Steve Harvey might say, I feel where you're coming from. There's a lot of black conservatives. You know, the liberal agenda is to take God out of the homes and separate the families. With that, you're going to get mayhem. You're going to get Mad Max on the other side. The conservative agenda is still that God runs the world.
Okay, don't be fooled by what he's talking about politics. Listen to the overall statement that what I'm saying is going to trigger what? Emotions. Who don't know that his statements, but about the takedown of a black man regardless, and about our suffering ain't going to trigger every black man in here, whether you think you Jewish, Israeli, they not, Hebrew, whatever. This is the trigger, your emotions. It didn't work. Y'all are desensitized to seeing black people actually lose their life. It didn't work. They found another. What did he say? This is a psychological psyops. All right.
And I'm Christian, and I feel like I got the best taste on the planet. So that's Jesus. I'm Jesus gang.
Okay.
But the Jewish people and the Muslims are all sons of Abraham also. And what Farrakhan would talk about right now is for the Jewish people, what I'm doing is I'm me tooing the Jewish culture. I'm saying y'all got to stand up and admit to what y'all been doing. And y'all just got away with it for so long that y'all don't even realize what y'all doing. And it's like, y'all with me either because y'all behind that gated fence, y'all soft, your hands got soft. You ain't out here getting beat up every day like me. You ain't out here getting called crazy every day like me. You ain't out here getting your family snatched like me. You ain't out here half your culture getting aborted like me. You ain't out here getting outraged with false narratives like BLM like me. So for all the Jewish media, y'all want to sit down and have a conversation with me? Then let's have a conversation. None of the usual suspects and get me to stop talking.
All right. He won't stop talking, his mouth, right? This is a whipping boy, y'all. They used him, and now they're going to whip him, but he knows what he's doing. And y'all Negroes done put this evil, backsliding devil up as your leader of the movement. Y'all done lost the most prideful man in the whole hip-hop industry. Y'all crazy.
You're going to have to take my life. I don't care if you Black Mirror me. I don't care if you do some of the alternative, what the thing was, show me talking, saying somebody didn't say. I don't care if you have a goat on camera. I don't care what you do. You're going to have, And by the way, and if you take my life, there's going to be some college kid, some young Ye, some young Pac that's going to even go harder. It's going to, y'all thought George Floyd was going to send it up. Y'all thought George Floyd was going to send it up. Y'all thought George Floyd was going to send it up. If you took my life right now, you're going to see something you never saw. You're going to see something you never saw. So we might as well have a conversation because I love you. I love.
Y'all clear now? Y'all clear now? He said, I'm here to start something and do something that's never been done before. And he is doing that, y'all. The man is using the most prideful amongst us to trigger your emotions And that would be this Negro and that Negro right there, Ronald Dalton. So now let me go back again. Let me show you what this one is all about. Right here. That one right there. He sent y'all. First of all, this man is demonically possessed. He is full of pride. Him and another one, Zion Lex. I'm going to let y'all hear another one. I want y'all to understand why these rabbis have been sent in. And they've fallen into the trap of pride. They are debating. They're going in under the most prideful, arrogant, drunk ones of us. And let me not say us. Ones of y'all. Because Satan is using this one. Oh my God, I know now she's a gossiper and a slander accuser of the brethren. This Negro is not my brother. As far as I'm concerned, he's an Edomite. You want to know what an Edomite look like? Right there. Right there. I ain't against light skin. I ain't against dark skin. It ain't got nothing to do with that. That's a Edomite and that's a Canaanite. And they both want your inheritance. And that inheritance is the kingdom of righteousness under Yahushua. These are both Jesus and Lord lovers. All right? All right, let me go back. So I want you to hear this. I told you again that I spoke to that Edomite. I spoke to that Edomite, right? That's sent by Satan, y'all, to forward this awakening through his pride. If it's never a vessel, the best vessel that he could ever use for his bidding is a prideful man like that. One who's after money, fame, and fortune. But he says he's for Israel, but yet he's calling out people. He don't want to stand alone. He's saying he's Moshe Levi, Melchizedek in the house. And he's going to establish the kingdom because he wrote a book full of false information, y'all. That is not history. There may be some fact in there. There may be some truths. Devil never stand on just falsehood altogether. But a lot of it is false. And it's false history. So I warned him. I said, what do you think you're doing? He is he's less concentrated on the so-called awakenings, fakenings, than trying to what? Disprove that the other nations or those that we call Jews today are not Jews. That's not your fight either. Whether you believe that or not, that's not your fight. You say they eat them, then that's your brother. And he said, what? What did he tell? Don't tell me about what Yah said, whether he hates Edom or Esau or Jacob. No, don't worry about what Yah does. He gave you an order, right? Because what did Jacob do? He bowed down to his brother. What did he do? Operation Harry. What did he do? Operation Drybones. And even though Edom wanted to kill Jacob, and he wrestled with the angel because he was scared that he was going to lose all his what? Inheritance because of Esau. When he wrestled and he says, your name is Israel. He reestablished the covenant and said, you don't know what the covenant is. It's not your women, children, and possessions. Don't worry about it. Go in what? Greet your brother and bow down to him. Y'all don't understand. You don't understand Israel. What? She wants us to bow down to the devil? She wants us to bow down to the white? No, Yah told you to whoever's your king, whoever's your ruler, submit. I'm going to prove it. Submit. All right? Now listen to something he says here. Now, if you see this whole interview, it was like you mad at them for treating us a certain kind of way. I lived in the state of Israel for many, many years. I know that there's racism here. They see a black person, they hoover around us, they question us. They were like, well, how are you Jewish? Who's your mama? Who's your father? Are you a convert? Do you keep having them don't keep the covenant? So what? That ain't our fight. We get questioned all up and down here. You tell them you got Ethiopian descent? Who? Your mother was your father. They don't question nobody else. Just if you black, particularly from America. But you don't like it when they do that to us, right? But he's sitting there telling you that if we put y'all in that position, according to y'all not even in power, and look at the way y'all doing. But if you see this interview, the way they talking to him, it's condescending, it's disrespectful, it's not straight. They ambush him, and they all got all kind of sly, slick comments about him being a thief and a robber and a fake. And then this Negro, listen to him.
Be black people or nothing like that, but it's just like a mahogany. Right. You understand what I'm saying?
So what I'm trying to say here is we could talk for months and weeks and years about the complexion, but what we're not talking about is the actual Torah and the laws of the Torah.
Okay.
And how that affects this conversation.
Well, you know the Edomites, they followed the Torah too. They were converted to Judaism.
Sure, we kept records of that.
You know, back in the early BC time.
For certain.
3rd century, 2nd century.
We know exactly the names of the families, the clans, who converted.
So if the Edomites got converted to Judaism or Jews, and they lived amongst the Greeks, the Hellenized Greeks, and also the Romans that may have considered Judaism, then how do you know you guys are not Edomites?
Because we
or
kept
you guys
records
are not
of which
descendants of
families
Greeks and
were
Romans.
from the converts and which families were divided.
And when it comes to...
There was a position called the exilarch. You know what an exilarch is? An exilarch was a...
I'm going to pause that right there. Right? He said a lot in there, and a lot of stuff he's saying is going right over their heads. From this ambush that they had on him to the first debate that they had to the second one when they totally disrespected him and showed the world how we gonna do. If we ever, or if y'all ever had a standing space to claim and dictate who's Israel, who's not. He said something, and what he said is true and right and good. And that was, he put it on the table. He did not argue with them about their identity, y'all. But they still trying to ambush him about his. He said, let's put it on the table. You're all Israelites. You're of the lost tribes. Let's put it on the table. Let's say, yes, that's true. But you still want to argue complexion, light skin, dark skin, red, hairy, all of this to prove who isn't. He's saying y'all going to be left with the conversation at the end of the day, whose Israel is based upon who keeps the covenant, the Torah and the laws. How many times in all those debates that he said, listen, if you really prideful lying nigga was about your people, if you really was about their return and their awakening, then you would be concentrating on teaching them the laws, statute, and commandments of Torah. Of course, he chose Jesus in his face. Then y'all tell people don't convert. You're mad because people converted to do what? What Jacob did. Jacob did. He bowed down to his brother. He put on his hair. He fed him his lentil soup. What's wrong with y'all? Oh, no, y'all gonna tell people, well, then you gotta deny Yahushua. Who told you that? That's a damn lie. No, you most certainly gotta deny Jesus Christ. Who the hell is that? Who the hell is Jesus Christ? Deny him all up and day long. Y'all have no wisdom and y'all don't know the ways of Yah. Okay, hear what I'm saying. Oh, I know they're going to try to pick this apart, but those are the fools. They don't know what they're doing, or maybe they do. You don't. You don't. I'm not speaking to these people. I'm speaking to you, elect. That's why he said, beware. Many false prophets, many false leaders and teachers say that I am the Messiah coming in my name. Say they came in my name, in my character, in my prophecies, in my word. Are going to mislead you. Be careful. If it was possible, they would mislead the very elect. Y'all, we're not just running from the beast. We're running from the false leaders of our people that's trying to fool us so that we don't what? Escape the beast. Y'all read prophecy all racial and one-sided. We're not just running from the beast, y'all. We running from our own people that said they're our leaders, that's trying to fool us about the elect and to go where Yahushua said we should follow him. But where is he? No, we're not looking for a man to show up in the wilderness. We're not looking for a man to be in the holy chambers. All right. So now I'm just talking, right? Let's get to it. So in my run, come out of her, my people, the whore of Babylon, parts 4 and 5. And a lot of y'all have listened or scoured through my part 1. And there's a lot of mysteries in there too. A lot of them covering prophecy. But in there, I'm also doing a lot of history. And because y'all think y'all know history, by the time y'all think I got a fact or a number or something wrong, you be like, she ain't nobody. Y'all are so wise. Y'all are so wise. I would say to y'all that have not listened to part 2, you think I'm going to give you the whole answer in the beginning? You think y'all just going to spill it out like that in the very beginning? Finish it up, y'all. So now, in this portion of run, come out of, I'm at times 224. Let me go forward a little bit. I speak about the book of Isaiah, Yeshayahu, or Yeshayahu. Hold on.
30, he died.
Okay.
As we read, drunkards of Ephraim.
Now, I'm going to briefly go over it. Go back and watch the video. I am starting at Isaiah 28, chapter 28, verse 1. And from 224 to about 2 hours to, I'm going to help y'all with it, to Isaiah 30. Isaiah 30 to 2 hours to 4 hours and something. Y'all go back and look. Right there. To about 440, right? To about 440, y'all. I am breaking down Isaiah 28, 29, 30, concerning what all this means. Please hear me. But I'm not going to sit up here and do our videos again. I'm going to just say little things and I'm going to point you back to the lesson, the full lesson, the breakdown of the interpretation of the prophecy, right? I'm going to say it again. Please, y'all, go back to my run, come out of her part 4, and please listen to the whole thing. Because when I give you the revelation once again about the safe place, the wilderness of the people, when I give you the revelations concerning this misunderstanding literation of Isaiah 60, the ships of Tarshish, look at the who is this flying in the clouds, this misinterpretation that this one taught. That one taught that the ships of Tarshish was coming to get us and the planes, but we were going to get reparations first. He was false prophesizing. He said we was going to get reparations first from the nations, and the nations was going to deliver us back to our land. That's what he said, right? But yet, he's false prophesizing to you. So please go back and listen, but I'm going to give you all what I just said. Y'all think I'm speaking heresy? Okay. But before I go there, here we are. 1 Timothy. Let me help y'all. We in the New Testament. Unto Timothy, my own son in the faith, grace, mercy, and peace from Elohim, our Father, and Yahushua, our Messiah, our Savior. As I brought thee to abide still in Ephesus when I went to Macedonia, that thou might have charged some that they teach no other doctrines. Do not go into teachings outside of what I have commanded you to teach. And anyone else that's teaching them, rebuke them. Neither give heed to fables and endless genealogies. Fables is what? Delusional, fantastic fairy tales, Hollywood fairy tales about how Yah is going to deliver us outside of what he's already declared and proven. I did already, I'm going to do it again. And endless genealogies. Why we always do? And this one be like, I can prove it because you won't be one Ebon Tubi Kenobi and H1P1C 3T R2D2 and why half of the Pablo group and the monkey group come from the Bantu tribe, the E1J1C marker, and I can prove all the genealogies, right? I can prove that you are Gomer and you are Gog and Magog. I can prove that because you got the JY, X, Y, and Z, the Wizard of Oz, OZ, Haplo group. But these people got why you don't have one drop of that blood? What that sound like? Not one of your blood links back to the E1B1. Endless genealogies, and they don't know what they talking about. First of all, they are only spitting off of the knowledge that who gave them. The knowledge of good and evil. And if the knowledge of good and evil, and if they understood anything about the true seed, the DNA of who is Israel, it ain't got nothing to do with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, E1, B1, 2, 1, 3. It ain't got nothing to do with that. If you really know anything about science, you would already know that they never broke the whole gene code. All you're doing is spitting off flesh. Now, why? Why should we not give heed to these things, which minister questions, rather than what? Righteous, pious, edifying, which is in the faith. So do. You arguing about who is Israel and who is not means nothing to your salvation. Now, the end of the commandment is charity out of a pure heart. Yes, charity out of a pure heart and of a good conscience and of faith unfeigned. All charity ain't good, y'all. From which some having swerved have turned aside into vain what? Babblings. Desiring to be what? Teachers of the law, understanding neither what they say, nor whereof they are affirming what they speaking. All right. But we know that what? Who's talking? The law is good if a man use it lawfully, knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man, because we walk what? In it for the heart. But for the lawless and disobedient, and for the unrighteous, and for the sinners, for the unholy, the profane, the murderers, the fathers, the murderers, the mothers, and manslayers, for whoremongers, for them that defile themselves with mankind, and men stealers, for liars, for perjured persons, and if there be any other thing in the contrary of sound doctrine, sound teachings. All right? Those of you who say you are followers, then stop with this. Stop with this. Who's Israel and who's not? They not the people we are. The only way you can prove what's what is by keeping the covenant, and y'all to sanctify you in the very end of what kingdom? An everlasting kingdom. All right. Okay. So now, I told you to go to that. Please do that. Now, I'm in Isaiah 30. Go back and hear the whole matter. But I'm just going to give you the end of the matter. A warning to a rebellious people. Who he talking to? If you leave it up to Jediah, he talking to the Edomites. Every time you see Yah put judgment on his people, he going to refer it back to Edom. He going to refer it back to Babylon. He going to refer it back to the white man. Everybody else but him and these nigger brews in these camps. 8. Now, go write it before them on the table. Do I want to read all of this? Okay. No, I do. Man, I want to read all of it. I can't right now. Try to keep it short. Look at this. Oh, I go into this. These ambassadors and princes of Zoan, ambassadors of Hannes, right? They are ambassadors to come to tell you there's good land, y'all. Good land, good land, good land in Africa. They were all ashamed of the people that could not profit them, nor be a help nor profit, but a shame and also a reproach. Understand, the burden of the beast of the south in the land of trouble and anguish, from whence come the young and the old lion, the viper and the fiery serpents. They will carry their riches upon their shoulders of young asses, and their treasures upon the bunches of camels, to a people that shall not profit them. What are we talking about? Prophecy I just said. They saying, everybody gather your stuff, get your stuff, bring your money. We're gonna go get some land. We got ambassadors from Zoan, right? From the fields of the land, the good land, that's telling you, come on, bring everything. And y'all gonna be, why? Because you running from what? The beast from the nations. It shall not profit, shall not profit. For the Egyptians shall help in vain. Help in vain, right? What's the Egyptians? I'm telling you, it's all about land. It's all about, first of all, I said it again. I said all these people, even local lands, all of them, they got lands and they put you back in Egypt, right? Who said the promise is farming and tilling for nothing? I know it for a fact. I spoke to that Negro personally, Brother Asa from local lands. He don't pay the people. Yeah, they can eat off the land. Yeah, they can put a tent up. That's the best you could do for your cow. That's slavery all over again. Slavery all over again. And when you get these people, they are hustling you. They're putting you back underneath the way of the Egyptian. It's a way of doing bad business, y'all. Bad business. Yes, TEOW, the project that he's funding with these little munchkins that you calling the two trumpet. Yeah, they got land. They got land, y'all. They got some land. Oh, they don't want to tell. They don't want to tell because we don't want Satan. No, y'all. Satan is with them. I'm not trying to stop their plans. Y'all got me twisted. I'm not trying to stop their plans. Let them succeed. The only thing I want is for the elect not to be fooled by their plans. They will succeed with many, but the elect, you're going to come out of it. So yeah, they got land to the report. Tell me if I'm wrong, Tayo. Tell me if I'm wrong. At Bagamogo, which is south of Dar es Salaam, north of Basalam, north of Basalam, they got land, y'all. And I got the report that they showing people the land, right? And so they done bought up big plots of land, but if land is only $300, as they say in Tanzania, for what? Acres, then what the hell did they need you for? But the report is, but they selling the land back for more than they bought it for, trying to make money off of you. And the very person in their minds is like, well, why the hell would I buy land from you for this price when I can get double that on my own? So it's a hustle off of you, y'all. There's nothing on the land. There's no water. There's no well. There's nothing. No infrastructure at all. So what? They bought land. It means nothing. And that's why they need rich people to come and take the money, charge them double for it. Who knows? It could be even triple for all we know. But that's usury. That's against Torah. And we're not allowed to do that to one another. You're not allowed to do that. If you say you helping people for the return, you're not allowed to buy a piece of property that they didn't ask you to buy, then sell it to them like you are helping them in the name of Yah off of their money. It's not like you even bought it with your money. You bought it from the poor people's money. Then ask them to pay for it twice over. All right? That's right. That's the way of Egypt. That's the way of Egypt, y'all. That's right. But the warning, go, now go, write it before them in a table and note it in the book that it may be for them the time to come forever and ever. Okay, so this is a prophecy warning about something in the time to come forever and ever towards the end. This is a rebellious people, a lying children that will not hear what? The law of Yahweh. That's what they teach, right? They won't hear the law of Yahweh. They're liars, y'all. I'm trying to show you they're lying, and I'm showing you their own words, and you saying I'm stretching, but a man's what? The heart comes out of his lips.
Why I am glad I was saved before waking up to being Israel. You know why I am glad, family, that I was saved before waking up to being Israel? So I don't have to get like these people with their laws, statutes, and commandments. So I can't get like these people who trust in the Old Testament and not in the Messiah. So that I will have already been saved, already have a relationship with Jesus Christ, who many of you call Yahusha, Yeshua. Our African brothers and sisters, some of them call him Yesu. Yes, I call him Jesus Christ. I call him Yahusha, the Savior of the Bible. I am glad that I was saved before waking up to being Israel, because I already have a relationship with Christ. I already have a relationship with Yeshua. I am already born again of the Spirit, and some of you all don't even know what that is. Some of you all were jumping and dancing in church and had no relationship. Some of you were sitting in church for 20, 30 years and have no relationship with the Savior. So when you wake up to being Israel, you buck jumping and dancing with the law, statutes, and commandments in your makeshift synagogue or whatever you want to call it.
And I can't judge a man's lips talking about, well, any common sense, mean take care of his people. That's not the word of Yah. Don't tell me about common sense. You can't say that you're a shepherd of Yah and then tell the people the reason why I ain't left is because my wife, who's really an unbeliever, don't want to go. And my son, who's really an unbeliever, don't want to go. So that's why I ain't out. But he snickles at me, saying, this organization run by a woman. Well, his organization is run by his unbelieving wife and his unbelieving children. And you have a dare tell me that this man is speaking righteousness and common sense when he says to you that if my wife don't want to go, oh, well, I'm stuck. Does this sound like a man that really believes in the kingdom and the destruction? Or he just sees issues in Babylon? And he says, I can have a better life over here. Let me go back and convince my wife that she can have Coming Back from America vision movie. Then maybe she can come. And he wants to save his whole unbelieving family. And I don't have a right to judge that. And y'all can't see that this is wickedness. When Yahushua said, who's my mother, my father, my brother, my son? Those that do what? The will of my father. What's the will of Yahweh? To keep his law, statutes, and commandments. I don't have a right to judge that, to show you the wicked intent of his heart. When Yah says what? 1 from a city, 2 from a family, and this Negro trying to bring out his whole exterior family with riches. And saying if they don't go, I won't go. What? Well, that's against the word of Yah. When Yahushua said, I came to bring what? A sword of division, but I don't have a right to tell him this Negro needs to divide from that and cleave to the word of Yah. He's not worthy to be even a disciple, but yet he says he's a what? A servant. This Negro says it's not his responsibility as a servant of Yah to do what? Worry about the poor and the homeless and the needy. Don't tell me about the prison. We know the angel of Yah is going to bust people out, right? Got that. That's one of the miracles you can't do, right? Got that. Got that. But when Yahushua said, I set up my covenant for you to help the laws and statutes of love and charity and piety. And then you're going to bring up Cornelius as if Cornelius wasn't a man that was keeping the law of Yah, directed his whole house, gave alms, gifts to the people, not one time, right? TEO, just because you gave money back or begged for money back for one person that's been continuously given to you. No, don't mean nothing. That's hand for hand type stuff. Then you compare yourself to Cornelius, that he got the Holy Spirit without what? Do you not know what it means when it says Cornelius was a pious man, devoted and feared Yah? That means he kept the covenant and he kept the commandments and he ordered his whole house to do it. But yet he still wasn't sent to lead anything. Common sense, y'all? It ain't the word of Yah. We read in the books of the prophets that he said in that day, if it's going to be such a time that if you had the faith of Noah, if you had the faith of Job, if you had the faith of Daniel, even by their own righteousness, but this nigga ain't righteous. He's a violent man. He threatens. I see you on the continent. Yeah, we're going to see, because I'm going to let y'all see him on the continent. I'm going to show his face. So y'all know, if he make it out, I want y'all to know that he ran with your money. He ran with your money, y'all. That's why he don't want people to know his face. Talking about he don't want people to idol worship him. They over here idol worshiping him right now, a cartoon image. I don't have a right that they could not even deliver but themselves, not even their sons and daughters. You out your mind. So y'all can keep on idol worshiping a no-face nigga. And if you think you know his face, trust me, y'all gonna go after him. If you follow his ways and you see what's gonna happen, he gonna scatter y'all. Trust me, y'all gonna get him. Y'all gonna get him. He ain't gonna escape the Canaanites that he came from. But let's see. Let's see. These rebellious people, which say to the seers, who's the seers? A prophet. All of you that's over here trying to say something to me, and I'm like, who the hell are you? Are you a prophet of Yah? No, I'm just a messenger. That gonna say to me, see not, you don't see this. Don't prophesize these things. That's what y'all been telling me the whole time. How dare she prophesize against the children of Israel? How dare she prophesize against the awakening? How dare she prophesize? And to the prophets, prophesize not unto us right things. Do you see the comments in my box that they telling me not to prophesize to them right things and call me a slanderer? When prophets prophesy, who are they talking to? The false prophets among your people. Speak unto us smooth things. Go back. What's the smooth things that you want me to preach to you? Prophesize deceits. That smooth things is the same word in Daniel that says flattery. Chalchut. What's the smooth thing that you want me to prophesize to you? That I'm talking against these people about? It's called a plot of land. Look it up, see if I tell a lie. Get you out of the way. Turn aside out of the path. Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Get them out of your way, remnant. They are the ones, rebellious princesses. They have made themselves their own leaders that are here to prophesy to you about land. What's the princesses of Zoan? What's the princesses of Hannes? But they are speaking to you to cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before you. Wherefore, thus saith Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, the Holy One of Israel, because you despise this word, the word that I'm saying, and you trust in oppression. What is oppression? And perverseness, which means falsehood, and stay thereon. You want to stay on that. You want to put your faith on that. Because you put trust in oppression. I'm trying to show you that this is oppression. What's the definition of oppression? Go back in Torah and see when Yah talks about oppression, that he says that you did not what? Judge the fatherless, the widow. You didn't come to their cause. You didn't help them. Therefore, the iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall whose breaking cometh suddenly in an instant. Watch this, y'all. And he shall break it as the breaking of a potter's vessel. There's going to be a scattering. They're going to scatter you, y'all. That is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it a sharp sherd to take fire from the hearth, or to take water withal out of the pit. Meaning y'all not gonna go through the fire. You're not gonna make it through. You're not gonna make it through the fire. You're not gonna make it through the water. You won't escape it. But the remnant, it says, when you go through the fire, what's the fire? What's the rivers overflow? You shall not drown. It didn't say you won't go through it. It says you won't drown. And the fire didn't say you're not going to go through the fire. But what's the fire? For thus says Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, in returning. What is he saying? In returning. What return is he talking about? This is also about what? Keeping the law. Keeping the law, right? That's what I just read. Where was it? Keeping the law. That children that will not hear the law of Yahweh. In returning, in this return, you are supposed to return with your own free will to the law. And rest shall ye be saved. Rest where? Let's see. In quietness. Shut your mouth. And in confidence. Confidence in what? That Yah will prove you in the end if you truly are to see the Israel. Shall be your strength. He said, shut your mouths in quietness and in confidence. In this quietness shall be your strength, but you would not. You would have none of this. You refused to. But ye said, no, for we shall flee upon horses, therefore you shall flee. And we will ride upon the swift, the ships of Tarshish. Therefore shall they that pursue you be swift. 1,000 shall flee at the rebuke of one. It's an end-time prophecy. And at the rebuke of 5 shall ye flee, till you be left as a beacon upon the top of a mountain and as an ensign on a hill. All right, y'all. Now, I could say so much. I think I went past my hour. I tried my best, y'all. Listen to the wisdom of Yah. And if you still don't understand my words, go back and listen to all 100, 200, 300, 400 hours. Since y'all got so much idle time to sit up to listen to this Negro in his car rant and rave and flip names and call names. And what do you call it when you just trying to act like you a big shot? Name dropping and what? Giving up his brother, right? Trust you, no brother. Oh, this is a Negro that's going to give you up, y'all. He said, if I fall, all y'all going to fall with me. If there's going to be a war, I'm going to make sure all of y'all are in this war with me. Ain't nobody went up so brave to challenge Edom, or who he says is Edom, or the white man, or the Jew, or the other nations like this dumb nigga. And this ain't nothing but like a secondhand wannabe. Nevertheless, many of y'all follow him. Hear me, elect. I'm not for many. I'm not here for many. I'm only here for the remnant. And many and many and many will hate me and will call me all manner of evil. But yet those that know my real work know that it's the good and the love for the elect of Yah, because I don't have to do this. But yet I have to, nevertheless, because Yah, by his grace, did it for me. And it's called hard love, y'all. It's called obedience, and it's called hard love. And we got a long way to go, y'all, in a short time to get there, for us to get through that fire in the water. Hear you the mouth of a prophet. They never believed the prophets. The prophets never had good news. Jeremiah himself, all of the leaders said that he speaks evil against us of Yah. And they put him in jail and put him in a dungeon of poop because he spoke evil of what was coming against him. And he told them why it was coming. And you are the children of those very people who stoned the prophets. When they trying to warn you, you ain't going to read no prophet that 90% of it, of what they saying, is speaking evil and Yah's doom and judgment against you and your leaders. And you get a little bit of good at the end. If and then. Now, I'm not asking, go back to my lesson. How will the remnant flee? I've never taught anybody that they needed to physically be exactly where I was, location, up underneath my dominion and rule, as in personal. I said, I walk a strict life and it's going to get stricter. And if y'all don't want to change, oh well, it ain't meant for y'all to walk with me. It ain't meant. There ain't too many people that can walk with a prophet. But to walk in a safe place, to come into the strong tower, is to listen to the watchmen, to the trumpet blowers, to the shepherds, to the prophets, to the seers, and do what they tell you to do according to the word of Yah for your safety. But when we say according to the word of Yah, it got to be consistent from the beginning to end. They don't get to switch up doctrines on you in the middle. I didn't say that they know everything. It ain't what y'all can say that about Moses. Y'all brought me, but it got worse when he came. Moses, get away from us. As soon as you come, things got worse. Moses let him out. But did Moses get him out? No, trouble got him out. Trouble got him out. And when they went that way, that was the direction that Yah first showed him. That's what he understood. And then Yah said, turn back around and go this way. What? Moshe, you don't know what you're talking about. Moshe, you don't know. No, Moshe was in the wilderness where he was supposed to be. And thus is the same. And so, oh, remnant. I'm going to say it again. My name is Ibaya, a.k.a. you know what it is. You know my face. It don't change. I can get some color when it gets dark, but this is who I am. I'm a daughter of Zion. I'm from Beta Israel. And I'm a child of light. And I'm here for the elect and the remnant. For the called, chosen, and those that remain faithful until the end. To the rest of y'all, have them. I'm telling y'all that seeking and searching for the kingdom and all of its righteousness. Listen to the message and forsake these and anything like them. Forsake it. Because this return, this is y'all humbling us before we get to the wilderness. That's my message. And on that note, y'all, you can leave it where it's at. So like I said, they know they're being triggered. They're being used by Satan. This is not Yah's plan, but yet it is at the same time. Yah is going to destroy us to save us. Amen.
On the truth, we can build a better relationship. Now, I think we should watch you for a protracted period of time before we admit you into our heart as a friend. What about that one? You want my brother to go out and denounce a movie that is teaching knowledge of self? Why don't you call the producer of that, the writer of that, and make them say that what they did is a lie? It's still in the movie. Don't pick on my brother. If you want to fight, we can entertain you. We're all born to die. And at some point, I don't give a skip how powerful you are. Like I said to one of your brothers who had me, and I visited him in his penthouse apartment on Fifth Avenue. And he offered me a drink. I said, sir, I don't drink. He said, well, you drink orange juice? I said, yes. He said, that's me. You listen to music? I said, of course. He said, that's me. Do you go to the movies? Of course, occasionally. He said, that's me. I said, sir, I know you're a powerful man. I said, but the God I serve, when it's your time to get out of here, neither your money or your power can keep you alive on this earth one fraction of a second after the decree of death is in for you. So who's really powerful? I'm not bowing to you. I bow to God. And I think we're going to get to that point where our people are not going to bow no more. We'll soon get to that point where your money don't mean to us what it means to you. When life don't mean more to us than the principles of truth upon which we stand. You're going to meet that kind of black person. You're meeting them now. And more you are making them by what you're trying to do to Ye, what you've done to Ye, and what you're trying to make KYRIE do to get back.
That interaction and then saying, aha, so now to be better, if we identify as Israelites and also followers of Jesus, how would we go about doing that, right? So like this sort of Christian Israelite phenomenon is just interesting to me. So all good as far as I'm concerned, Zion.
All right, I appreciate that. And just for the record, if I could let you know, I am not a Christian. I do not accept Yeshua as the Mashiach. I am a person that follows the Torah and the Tanakh alone, although I have grown to come to a greater understanding of what Yeshua had to say, his message, and I do see many parts of his narrative as more plausibly accurate in light of newer information that I've been looking at. But if we were to scrutinize, my beliefs, place my beliefs on the Torah and the Tanakh, the oral tradition. I do not believe that the Mashiach has come, yet in my newest research, I am highly considering the plausibility of Yeshua's narrative in light of having access to what the rabbis were saying during his era and before his era. So I'm pretty much an interesting Israelite for you. I can assure you this, you're probably not going to meet another one like me.
I was going to say, that sounds like a, first of all, best of luck on your path and your journey. That sounds like a lot to be figuring out, and I wish you much success. And secondly, yeah, I don't think I've ever met anybody who sort of described it exactly as you have. I'm interested in sort of figuring out for myself as an educational proposition, like the broad, how diverse the Israelite community really is and how many different kinds of identities there are. So, which is a long way to say, yeah, identity is complex, so I appreciate it. Yeah, I get you.